Most gardeners think in seasons. We plan for the next planting, the next harvest, the next yield. But soil doesn't work on a seasonal calendar. Soil works on a timeline measured in decades. On Soil Factor, we talk a lot about the truth beneath our feet. And here's one of the biggest truths of all. Real soil fertility is a long-term investment. The healthiest, most productive gardens you admire weren't built in 1 year or even 5. They are the result of consistent, thoughtful soil management over 10, 15, even 20 years. In this article, I want to walk you through what long-term soil fertility really means, how it develops, and how you, whether you're just starting or have been gardening for years, can build soil that keeps getting better with time instead of wearing out. Long-term soil fertility is not about dumping more fertilizer into the ground every season. It's about creating a soil system that feeds plants naturally, year after year, with less effort and fewer inputs. Over a span of about 20 years, fertile soil develops 3 powerful qualities: stable organic matter, active biology, and balanced nutrients. These, work together to make your garden more resilient, more productive, and honestly, far less dependent on constant corrections. If you've ever noticed that older gardens often grow better crops with less work, well, this is why. The soil itself has matured. It's, learned how to feed plants. The first 5 years are really all about repair and rebuilding. Most garden soils begin their journey compacted, low in organic matter, and, biologically inactive. This phase is where a lot of gardeners get impatient, and where mistakes can echo for decades. In these early years, organic matter is everything. Compost, aged manure, plant residues and mulches begin feeding soil microbes and improving soil structure. At the same time, roots start carving channels that improve water movement and aeration. This is also the phase where over-fertilization does the most damage. Heavy doses of synthetic fertilizers may produce quick growth, but they slow the natural development of soil life. Long-term fertility depends on biology, not force-feeding. If your soil feels difficult during these years, that's normal. You're not failing, you're building something that lasts. If soil fertility had a bank account, organic matter would be the currency. Over 20 years, increasing and protecting organic matter is the single most important thing you can do. Organic matter improves nutrient retention, allowing soil to hold on to nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and trace elements instead of losing them to leaching. It also acts like a sponge, holding water during dry periods and releasing it slowly to plant roots. But organic matter is not permanent. Every year, microbes consume it. That's why long-term fertility requires consistent replenishment, not a one-time fix. Mulching, composting, and returning plant residues to the soil create a slow, steady increase in organic matter that compounds year after year. Small annual gains turn into massive improvements over decades. Between years 6 and 10, something exciting happens. The soil begins to respond faster, crops grow more evenly, water infiltration improves, pest pressure often decreases because healthier plants defend themselves better. This is the stage where soil biology really comes alive. Fungi form networks that transport nutrients across the soil, bacteria cycle nitrogen efficiently, earthworms multiply and reshape the soil profile. Gardeners who reach this phase often notice they can reduce fertilizer inputs without losing yields. That's not magic, it's the soil doing its job. At this point, consistency matters more than intensity. The gardeners who maintain long-term fertility are the ones who keep doing the basics well, season after season. One of the biggest mistakes in soil management is treating nutrient problems as isolated events. Long-term fertility looks at trends, not symptoms. Over 20 years, nutrients accumulate or deplete depending on how you manage them. Excess phosphorus, for example, can quietly build up from repeated manure use. Potassium may decline slowly if crop residues are removed year after year. The key is balance. Regular soil testing every few years allows you to make small, precise adjustments instead of dramatic corrections later. Long-term fertile soil rarely suffers from extreme deficiencies because inputs and outputs stay in harmony. Think of nutrients as a slow conversation with your soil, not a shouting match. This is the phase where soil shows its true strength. Long-term fertile soil doesn't panic during droughts or heavy rains. It absorbs shocks and, well, recovers quickly. At this stage, soil structure becomes remarkably stable. Aggregates resist compaction, roots penetrate deeper, and water moves efficiently without erosion or runoff. This resilience is what separates productive gardens from struggling ones in unpredictable climates. When weather becomes extreme, long-term fertile soil, becomes an insurance policy. And the best part? Maintenance becomes easier. You're no longer fixing problems, you're preserving success. Over 20 years, growing the same crops in the same place weakens soil biology and encourages disease buildup. Diversity is not optional for long-term fertility, it's essential. Rotating crops with different root depths and nutrient demands feeds a broader range of soil organisms. Legumes support nitrogen-fixing bacteria. Deep-rooted crops recycle nutrients from lower soil layers. By year 20, well-managed soil reaches a powerful stage of maturity. It still needs care, but, it now does most of the work on its own. This is the soil every gardener dreams of, but honestly, few commit to building, not because it's complicated, but because it requires patience, observation, and respect for natural processes. Long-term fertility rewards consistency, not shortcuts. Trends come and go in gardening, products change, advice evolves, but, soil fertility built over decades never loses value. Whether you're growing vegetables, fruit trees, or staple crops, long-term fertile soil increases yields, improves quality, and, reduces workload. It turns gardening from a constant struggle into a partnership with the soil. On Soil Factor, our goal is to help you build gardens that outlive trends, and maybe even outlive us. If there's one message I want you to take away, it's this: your soil remembers how you treat it. Every compost application, every mulch layer, every careful decision adds up. You don't need perfect soil today. You need a plan that gets better every year. If this article helped you think differently about your soil, make sure to subscribe to Soil Factor for more deep, practical insights into building real fertility. Share this with a fellow gardener who's tired of short-term fixes and ready to grow soil that lasts. Your future harvests will thank you.